made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channel and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes and continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, True Weight Solutions, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, SCED, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 301 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I am your co-host, Luke Millette, and here's your host, Jim Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Ramachandra Arci. And if you want to hear more about how to create a culture with chiropractic, stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. Today we have Dr. Ramachandra Arci coming in from Colombia, of all places. I think this might be our first Colombian interview, and I'm really excited for this. It's episode 301. And we're crossing into this milestone of the 300s now, which is really exciting for our show. And before we get started, I want to introduce my co-host, Luke Millette, over there in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Wave to the crowd, Luke. Woo! And Ramachandra, wave to our crowd. You're coming in from where in Colombia?
Bogota, Colombia.
Is that the capital city down there?
It is the capital city. And thank you very much, Jim and Luke, for having me here today.
Yeah, it's an honor to host you and to tell your chiropractic story. But before we do that, we just want to set some ground rules for people, let people know why we do what we do. We do protect free speech in chiropractic. We support the subluxation-based chiropractor. And we do protect the sacred trust with these stories and documenting the beautiful profession of chiropractic. And now we're weaving this amazing tapestry with the chiropractic story. And now yours is a part of that. So if you could just open up with us and share with our audience today your chiropractic story, which I didn't know, but I'm really excited about. Maybe you could share your story with our audience today and let them know how you became a chiropractor that you are today.
Well, Luke and everybody watching us today, well, actually, I'm going to say that it's not that interesting as it is, like being a second generation chiropractor, you're born and raised in a chiropractic family, so basically there's a lot of already understanding rules that you kind of like follow. So at the end, those years, when you're like thinking and you're in school and you hear all those cool stories about like, hey, I got this accident or something happened or like these amazing stories. And then you're like, well, I chose chiropractic because it saved me. And you're like trying to think about it, like what's going to be cool about it? like I want to have a cool story about. But what I'm going to say, it's actually for the second generation chiropractors that are out there. Actually, chiropractor chose you, chiropractic did chose you. And it's very hard to be able to follow your own steps, into chiropractic. At the beginning, I thought it was going to be like chiropractic was the only bubble I had for what my dad taught me. But then when I got to school and, you start learning these other techniques and you start like learning all this world of chiropractic, it just kind of expanded and it started like happening. So pretty much I tried to not be a chiropractor for a long time, like I kind of like challenged it. So I went and went to see the law faculty, the school. I went to see engineering. I went to see design, to see if there was something that called me besides what I already knew was going to happen, that I was going to become a chiropractor. So I kind of challenged it because I didn't want anything else to be in my path or that back of thought in your head, like, oh, what happened if I would have gone to this, or what happened if I would do that. So I kind of challenged it a lot. I went and see different careers and nothing called me. Honestly, my innate was already like it chose chiropractic for a long time. I'm the youngest of four. All of my brothers like did different careers, nothing related to chiropractic. So I was like challenging, and then there was a point that I'm like, well, no, I'm gonna go to chiropractic school. So I was this young kid, still in high school, saying like, well, I'm gonna go to chiropractic school. I'm gonna go to chiropractic school, but never applied or never, actually did something to go to chiropractic school. And it was until one of my friends, he sat down and told me like, hey, just because you say you're gonna go, it doesn't mean you're gonna do it. And it kind of hit me. It hit me hard. It was like a moment of an aha moment. And it was like, wait a minute, he's right. If I don't do the things, if I don't put any effort in it, I'm not gonna do anything about it. So I started like contacting schools. I actually went to Parker University, because Fabrizio Mancini was president at the moment. And he's half Colombian, so he's like, oh, for sure, just come over and you'll see the school. I went to Life University and I went to Sherman Chiropractic College, and I saw all of those three, got accepted to all of those three, and then I pretty much chose Life University. I think it was the right place, it was the right campus for me, and I kind of like, that's where everything started, so I had to do all the paperwork. It's not easy to go from another country, on that stage and get into the school. So you had to do college and you had to do a bunch of other prerequisites to be there. But it was worth it. I think it's been a life-changing moment, and it's been a great place to be at. It's a profession that needs a lot of good souls in it. Because it's a change of thought, it's a change of paradigm for the world at this moment.
So let's backtrack a little bit. Did you say your dad was the first chiropractor over there?
Yes, he is actually. He's been here for 42 plus years in Colombia. Wow. He has a huge practice over here. He's Brazilian. He's a Brazilian nationality. Then he traveled to the U.S. He did study around the U.S. He stayed there in the hippie time, I call it, because it was around the 70s. Mm-hmm. So it's that black era of your parents that you don't know what they're doing, And then he pretty much graduated. He went and studied with Clay Thompson. He studied with Sid Williams. He kind of like was very enrooted into straight chiropractic, and then he came to Colombia. I don't know why he ended up in Colombia. Honestly, I think he landed a job over here, but then he met my mom, and then he started working into chiropractic over here, and he started in his house, and then little by little he started building his own practice, and nowadays he's very well known over here.
So what would be some advice you'd give to another chiropractor who wanted to see more patients in their office?
Well, I believe that in that point, I think it's being the connection, being your own self, and being the connection that you want to have with people. It's the uniqueness of being able to connect with those. If you want them to stick in your office, I think there's several things that a chiropractor should have, and one of those, I think, it's love and passion, mastery and knowledge, and I would believe also understanding and compassion. So let me break it down a little bit. Why do I think this happened? So the first advice, it will be like, don't talk, just listen to the patient. Because sometimes you make it about yourself and you make it about your agenda. Like either I gotta sell a plan or I gotta tell him what the chiropractic story. I really want to tell him the chiropractic story, but sometimes it's actually about listening where they're at. And that will show the patient understanding and compassion, about it. If you break it down, if you don't talk as a doctor to a patient, you talk about his own language. Like if you have a farmer, you'll break chiropractic down into farming. If you have a mechanic, you'll break chiropractic down as a mechanic, and you break the meaning for an average Joe person. That will show knowledge and mastery on your side. And lastly, I'll say it's more about the connection and enthusiasm that you have, and that will bring new patients, and that will show the love and passion you have for the profession and for them as well. and they will like to stick into your office. They will love to stay there with you, work with you over there, and they will recommend a lot of people new people. So I think those are the top qualities that chiropractors should have to be able to bring people in and have new patients and everything.
Yeah, honestly, talking to people, most of it is paying attention to them. And that's something that it's unfortunate we have to teach that to others. It should just
Yes.
it should just come with our innate system, our preloaded download of like who we are. But I think a lot of times people, they have to take themselves out of the way and just hear someone out and then meet them where they are and be able to have a conversation with them. And the other, form of doctoring in the world, there isn't a whole lot of that. There isn't a whole lot of time with the practitioner. There isn't a whole lot of testing done by the doctor to the patient. And a lot of it is, it's just not the chiropractic method. So it's really cool to understand that you see the different levels of communication and then the relationship building. And like you said, if you start making an impact with one person, they're the greatest referral source in the world. They'll tell everyone.
I think it's the most solid place where you can look for patients. Nowadays with the digital area, we're like looking for where should I market, where should I pay for an ad or something like that. And the best patients are the ones that comes from other patients, So that's how you build pretty much a practice, like the referrals. And how do you get those referrals? Well, doing a great job in your office. Being able to connect with the people in your office. That's, I think, the most important part of it.
And that's creating a chiropractic culture.
Yes. Yes. Because if you try to explain entirely chiropractic in the first visit, 90% of that it's over their head. Like they won't get it because they're here and you're like explaining this amazing stuff of chiropractic. But if you break down chiropractic like simple and then build from there, and every visit you go a little bit step further and a little bit step further, then you're going to be able to, connect on a different level with your patients and they'll get it.
So what are some types of things you like to do for your own personal health and your family's health?
Well, this is, I call it the 5 pillars of health, that pretty much we really try to keep it as healthy as we can. I'm not perfect, like I'm not going to be the perfect guy, for it. But I try to do the 5 pillars of health, which for me, they are well-adjusted bodies and a free-flowing nervous system, so chiropractic is number 1 for me. The better your body works is the best you're able to give chances for it to adapt. Balance and good food. We got to understand that how you're buying your food, where do you buy your food, and what are you putting into your body, because that could turn into something toxic or something healing, for your own system. Exercise and movement, like you do need to move. You need to put oxygen into your system so it can like actually change your free radicals and everything. Good thoughts and thinking process, like and mostly on these times, these I call it the dark times, that we're being bombarded by different, like thoughts and line of thoughts and fear. I think that at this moment, you really have to have a clear mind and being able to trusting to innate, trusting to the, universal intelligence that your body's working, that you're going to do a great job, and that no matter what, your body's going to be able to respond to whatever it comes, and avoid toxins as much as you can. I'm not saying you're going to be able to live toxin free, because unfortunately we live in this world that you walk outside and there's cars and you smoke and you breathe the exhausts and whatever happens. But avoid toxins as much as you can. If you like that, for my family, if I try to live like that, I'll be more into the context of being in a healthy side of life than actually trying to ruin my own health. That's where we're at the moment.
I think it's great, building blocks of advice for anybody that will listen to this episode to start taking some notes on this and to see how you can start implementing some of these strategies into your day-to-day life. And because we've done so many of these interviews, I just have to remind people to always stay hydrated, drink half your body weight in ounces every day. And a new concept I'm starting to toss around to people is creating a sleep bank and making daily deposits into your sleep bank to make sure that you're not going bankrupt with your rest and restoration of your body. So I think that that's something that we could pay attention to a little bit as well.
When you say about like sleep bank, it's like keeping track or record of your sleep.
Yeah, and getting the specific amount of sleep within your week, so you're staying healthy with your restoration.
Okay, that's actually pretty sweet. I don't know if you guys have kids or not. I have a 2-year-old, and at the moment it's like if I don't go to bed at 11 p.m. late, I won't be able to get up the next day. I need my hours to sleep, and this guy wakes up at 5:30, 6 a.m. in the morning. You're like, man, you gotta be ready for that, so if you want to sleep, man, get a kid.
All right. Your new bedtime is 10 p.m.
Oh man, definitely. Before that, I would go to bed late, and now it feels like a hangover. If you go out to bed at 12 and at midnight, it feels like a hangover the next day, man. It's kind of crazy.
So, what are some of your favorite ways to stay connected to your community and your patients?
Well, I really now things have changed. Before we used to do plenty of work in the office and kind of events. Now we do radio shows, TV shows, interviews and social media pretty much. Right now people are not going out. I don't know, because of the entire situation and all, and people have become more cavemen, they want to stay at home, so it's hard for them to come out and be in an office, event. People don't go to their jobs anymore, so they're not gonna go out for an event in an office. But we do stay a lot into pretty much, social media, giving some videos, exercising. We call twice a month. We have this trainer, great guy, Miller, and this guy will teach, about exercises and stretches you can do on Saturdays morning. So people that are going to the office and the practice to be able to get adjusted, they can get this kind of stretch class, which are pretty cool, to be able to implement and kind of give people. So that's the one that I like the most, because you're actually doing something active while they're going to get adjusted, but they also get a reminder of hey, you have to move, at home as well. And digital medias, right now everything's digital. I'm gonna say it's most of the times. I used to do BNI. I don't know if you've heard about BNI. So it's this for the people that haven't heard about it, is actually people that are professionals, and you have a group of professional people, and there's one lawyer, one accountant, one of every single every subject. And then you gotta do introduce your what you do, your career, and how you can help people. And this creates a lot of linkage and a lot of people and referrals as well in this great community of professionals. So it's actually a good thing. If you get the access to be able to do that, it's a great thing to meet new people and also be able to connect strong connections with professional.
Well, not only were Jim and I in BNI for a while, but we've also interviewed the founder on our show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Ivan Meisner was on here a year or two ago.
Wow, I gotta go watch that show, man. I'm sorry, I kind of skipped it and missed it, man. I would love to see that one.
Yeah, Ivan was a great interview, but the thing is some people don't understand this is the BNI chapters, they're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to ask me, the strongest management group out there for chiropractic is BNI, because there's a chiropractor in every chapter, and it's not the small sector management groups. We have a chiropractor representing every BNI chapter across the country and across the world, I'm sure. So yeah, it's a big network group. If we could tap into that as leaders of the profession moving forward, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah, and teaching what's great vitalistic chiropractic, man. Like and professionals knowing that they have a higher level of education, they can like actually help spread that word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
So
I'm gonna see that chapter, man.
Yeah. I don't know what number it is, but it's back in the hundreds somewhere.
Okay.
I'll make sure I send it to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Chiropractic Rocks, True Weight Solutions, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, doTERRA, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Sked, New Patients in a Box, the Influencer Authority Podcast Training, and Prime Spine Consulting. Let's hustle.
So how do you see chiropractic changing and evolving or, becoming different over the next 20 years or so?
To be honest, I see it the same. I don't see it changing. Mostly it's because what's happening inside the profession, like what chiropractors do to chiropractors, and pretty much schools are fighting each other, like the East versus West, and medical practices against chiropractors, and associations fighting each other. And I think that creates a lot of division in the practice, and it's always been like that. Hasn't changed, I think, and of course that creates a big gap, in chiropractic. A lot of even doctors are moving to the vitalistic side, like a lot of, it's funny, today I was in this homeopathic, I was passing through in a homeopathic drugstore, and I see this message saying, scientifically proven medications, it helps your body to heal itself. And it said, it helps your body to heal naturally, like from within. And you're like, whoa, wait a minute. This is a drugstore saying that, it's like, it's crazy, So a lot of the movement is going towards vitalism. But I think what our lack of communication inside the profession, it's a call out for everybody out there, being able to, hey, we got to stick together and we got to like really get our game, because the world is moving and we are not, as a profession. So this little fights, of whatever's going to happen with this school and whatever's going to happen with this. And, if you are a flack or you're this other profession, and we haven't even come together into a subluxation definition, like every year there's somebody throwing another subluxation definition, that we're going to use it in our school, it's going to be banned in our other school. And that creates a lot of gap, Of course, I don't think it's going to be worse than what we're doing right now, I think there's always going to be those vitalistic warriors that are going to push the profession forward. Example, you guys, like you're pushing this vitalistic profession forward, I think there's plenty of chiropractors pushing this profession forward. And that gives me hope of chiropractic in the future. But at this moment, as we are sitting right now, I don't think there's going to be much change, man, honestly.
And who have been some of like your heroes or your inspirations or people you've looked up to on your journey to be where you are right now?
Well, I got a bunch, like I'll start with the life of Nelson Mandela. That guy, the power of mind of that guy to be able not to break. That's something that you gotta admire. Tony Robbins, I love that guy, man. He has he has a great set of mind, man. The guy tapped into wealth, in a such extraordinary way. Nikola Tesla, I love that guy. But if you tell me one guy that I would love to kind of like sit and talk to, the guy will be Michael Burry. I don't know if you know Michael Burry. For the people that they don't know who Michael Burry is, if you have watched the movie The Big Short, it's the crazy guy that kind of like tells about the stock market, before even it happens. I kind of like that side of the stock market and what's happening in the and business side. And I would love to sit and know about the guy, how he can see what's happening with society and how will they reacting to the market, and being able to take the emotion out of what's happening into the business side of things. I would love to see that from the guy. I don't know how would that go, because they say it's kind of like he's not it's hard to talk to the guy, but it will be cool to talk to that guy. I would love to learn from that side of how he sees the world. It's kind of cool. In chiropractic though, I have big heroes. Reggie Gold. For me, Reggie Gold is one of the guys that made chiropractic simple. Like, he had this way of explaining chiropractic, even the hardest idea. Like, he will break it down so easily and being able to, for the average Joe to get it, that I think that's amazing. And that requires a lot of mastery and knowledge, as Einstein said, if you cannot explain it as easy, like the simplest way you can, then you don't know it. And that guy definitely knew it.
Yeah, and I also heard you say that you did some work with Arno Bernier and Jay Comerick and Dondi Epstein, and I know that the list could go on and on for the people that made influence on you, and being able to work with your father, I think is something also really special, and to learn from somebody that built a legacy project and has an amazing practice that you can be a part of. I mean, that's to me, it's humbling. And it might be hard for you to see it through the same the lens I look through, but that's an honorable position to be in too, and to be able to transition into that practice that you're with down there in Bogota with your father.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. And it's been quite of a road, I think. I'm going to say I was blessed to be able to have great mentors in my path. I would say it's mentors because I spend a lot of time, let's say, with Arno Bernier, Sue Brown, Susan Rossi. So I think those guys really helped me see chiropractic the way I do right now. I actually was staffing for the MLS for Arno Bernier. We did open all of the clubs for Hispanic people in Life University for them to be able to work. We did this underground club, called the Fight Club, in school, to be able to train and master our art, and our philosophy and technique. And it was it was a small group, from different quarters, that everybody will bring in something to the table. And that creates like a communion, but also it creates like a view of your chiropractic based, and nowadays if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't even practice having what I do at the moment. So I'm really blessed of being part of that, and being able to open those clubs and being able to learn and guide, and that helped me to be a leader. It helped me because school was one thing, you had to kind of like finish school and graduate. But then whatever you did outside school is what really creates you and really kind of like shapes you as a chiropractor. And we spend more time doing things outside school than actually in school. I'm going to say I was like a good C chiropractor, C for chiropractic. But outside school, I would like spend every day like 2 to 3 hours, like either planning a club or either learning or teaching something. Weekends I will teach or learn something about it. So that helped us to create. Actually, when we graduate and I start opening the office and working with my dad, we actually created mission trips in Brazil and in Colombia. To be able to bring chiropractic to the masses, like we did something called Chiropractic Worldwide Missions, And it was me and 3 other friends, and we started like rooting chiropractic into Colombia. And we will go to this remotely places, when there's a lot of poverty, and we will serve chiropractic, we will teach students, we were on this kind of like mission trip where you just throw students right there and, you'll see what you have to do. We'll teach them, we'll have like this teaching, and then they'll adjust. And it was kind of cool, it was a great experience. We did it for several years. And then of course we transitioned, we had to focus on our offices, and then we kind of let that go as well,
All right. Well, we're just about at the end of our time today, but why don't you kind of wrap everything up with maybe a miracle story that you've seen in your office or something profound that you've seen happen?
Well, that was my first chiropractic miracle story. It happened at my dad's office when I started. I was like right out of the envelope, man, from school. And I was there was a first visit. I took care of that. It was a woman. She started crying, and she was like saying like, "Hey, this visit is not for me." She started like that, This visit is not for me. It's for my husband. He cannot move. He's at home, and he's not able to move at all. Like I need help. And she was asking for my dad. She's like, "Well, I actually asked for this appointment with your dad, but okay, let's see if you can help me." That's how everything started. So, and I'm like, "Well, tell me about him." So she shows me the MRIs, she shows me the X-rays, I'm looking at the case. I'm like, okay, of course he has herniated disc, he has this amount of things into the spine, but then you're only seeing studies. You're not actually seeing the person, and when you're, when you have somebody in front, you're able to like kind of match whatever you're seeing into the X-rays or MRIs into the person. But when you don't have the person, then you're just BSing pretty much. So when I saw it, I'm like, well, I need to see your husband. Is there a possibility he can be here? She's like, no, he cannot wake up from bed. Like he cannot lift from bed. So I'm like, okay, great. I told my dad, hey, this is happening. He's like, well, you are a doctor in the office right now. We don't do home chiropractic. We don't do how do you call that when
house calls?
House calls. You don't do house calls. You're an office chiropractor. But then there was something like, so I tell my girlfriend at the time, she's my wife now, and I'm like, well, I have this, and she's like the one that told me like, I think it's been revolving in your head, and I can see it, and I think if that's your calling, you should go. You should go. My dad told me like, whatever you want to do, but I recommend you to stay in the office. I'm like, there's this calling, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to his house. So of course the guy was laying in the bed. The bathroom was right next to the bed, like it was just like passing one wall, and he's in the bathroom, and he would only can be able to stand up, go to the bathroom, and then crawl back to the bed, So I take my astrolight table, I take it over there, my activator, my blocks, I go like all prepared, And then I'm like looking at him, looking the X-rays, looking the MRIs, seeing what I have to do. At the end of the day, you adjust subluxations, you get the subluxation, you understand that, and then you're able to adjust that subluxation. Of course, with an educated mind of being able to see what's going on in the X-rays and everything, but you adjust subluxations. So I adjusted him that first time, and he started like he lifted from the table and walked to the living room. And then he just starts crying, man. Like he starts crying. He's like, I haven't seen my living room for 6 months. And it's like, of course he's like gate walking, like he's like kind of struggling, but from the first adjustment, he's not crawling back. He kind of like went to the living room, came back, like kind of did a couple laps, and he's like crying. his wife was crying, his mother-in-law was crying right there, like I start crying, like it was kind of like it was intense, and being able to see this story and this chiropractic, and of course it's the first time, and you're like seeing what's happening and not only changing one person but an entire family. It's just so powerful, from one adjustment. It was so powerful. It was very heart opening for me. And I'm like super happy, and I'm glad, like I was like super happy that happened. Further, like we keep working, like he will be able to walk more, like there was a point that we got stuck, like we couldn't see improvement. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do tonal work for him. We start doing tonal work on him, and then back into full spine, and kind of diversified adjusting. And he just starts improving, and the will for him, like to get out of bed and being able to work, it was great. So that was my first chiropractic story. It was a very, very emotive kind of like story, being able to see him go out of that one, and then he started, like afterwards he was being able to go to the office. So now he became a patient in the office. His son start going, his wife start going, like and they. And as I'm telling you, like the way you connect with people and being able to see and being yourself and connect with them, he started bringing more people. So now I get like a lot of referrals from him, because now he's the miracle walking, and he's like, I don't know what that guy do, like I've been to all these doctors, I've been all these places, but this guy like helped me, in my time of darkness. So I think chiropractors are the ones that, just bring light to the room, like you cannot fight darkness with darkness. You just got to turn on the light as it is.
It's powerful stuff.
Yes.
Well, Dr. Rama, where can people go to learn more about you and your dad and your clinics? What are some websites you can be found at?
Well, we got one website. It's called nuevavidachiro.com, which is nueva, like new, life, vida, Chiro, QUIRO.com. That's our website. And then if you want to check our Instagram, it's going to be at Chiropractica Nueva Vida. The other one, I know it's Spanish and English. I'm sorry. I'm kind of like...
You're going to have to text us too.
You'll have to email that to me.
I'm trying to make it the best, Yeah. The other one is Alternativa Chiro. And my personal one is at Rama underscore, yeah, RC. Yeah, thank you. Rama _RC. So those are the Instagram. So Chiropractica Nueva Vida. The other one is Alternativa Chiro, and the other one is Rama _RC. You can check us over there. We're happy for any questions. And thank you very much, guys, for having me here. Honestly.
Yeah, thanks for being our guest today. And this was a great episode, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening or
Thank
morning.
You very much.
I don't know what time it is.
Well, yeah, no, it's 7 p.m.
Okay.
It's great time.
Well, Dr. Ramachandra, thank you so much for being our guest today. It's an honor to get to know you on this platform that we hold for the chiropractic profession. And thank you for sharing your story today. It was great to hear from you. And I'm sure that you're going to open some eyes, ears, and hearts with the message that you delivered today.
Thank you very much for opening the mic for me. Look, Jim, honestly, thank you very much for your kindness. And thank you for what you're doing for chiropractic. I think it's super important, and people need to keep growing and learning.
It's our pleasure.
All right. Well, have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon, okay?
We'll
Take care. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.